Today on entitled Parents. My 10-year-old cousin doesn't know how to do basic things. Since I can't directly tell my aunt that she sucks at parenting and she's slowly disabling her own kid, I came here to vent a bit. If this isn't the right subreddit for this, please tell me and I'll move this post. My 10-year-old cousin is healthy, has iron deficiency at most, yet he speaks like a 4-year-old. When he talks, you can't understand anything at all. He doesn't know how to use a toilet alone, blow his nose, or tie his shoes. Yet he's an ace on a PlayStation and keeps screaming "Skibbity Skibbity Ohio," literally called my rescued cat an Ohio cat. His mom does literally everything for him, even bought him $500 markers for school and a graphic tablet. He doesn't know how to hold a pen in his hand. And you know what's really funny? They did it right after my parents bought me expensive markers and a graphic tablet. I am an art student. At first I didn't mind at all. But then my aunt kept bringing it up continuously, like trying to rub it in my face that her kid had better things or something. The same aunt called me an attention seeker on my own birthday because my mom kind of told everyone I have an OCD, and I'm pulling my hair. Said I'm faking it because she never noticed, my bad for not walking around with my bald spots on display for everyone to see. It's so funny to me that she also has a psychology degree, yet her kid has brain rot strictly because of her. Please tell me I'm not the only one who sees something wrong. Nobody tells her anything, not daycare, not his teacher. Nobody. I kinda wanna tell her, but she's going to throw a tantrum most likely, like she did when I called her an unprofessional for diagnosing my OCD. For our next story. I've been forced to cut off my entitled mother and the guilt is crushing me. I've just cut off my 66-year-old mother. I am so racked with guilt and shell shock from our falling out this past Saturday I can't really write out very much. She is on disability, so only has like $1,300 a month to live off of, has no part-time job, no car, and lives in a somewhat rural area. Since 2017 I, 29 female, have been financially supporting her. My sister has a very strained relationship with her, but has her own family to take care of, so does not contribute financially like I do. I've bought her 2 vehicles, the most recent of which I bought in January, and she destroyed already. She smokes weed and drinks and used to be addicted to pain pills. She is a very typical narcissist. Without me she is quite literally up crap creek without a paddle, and I don't know how to cope with the guilt. I'm just going to list some of things I've done for her. For reference, my father passed away in 2017. They were divorced but still friends and helped one another. Bought her a car in 2018. Paid for most maintenance and did repairs on it myself. Gave her money literally anytime she asked. Allowed her to be an authorized user on my credit card, which she promptly racked up $500 on for her numerous cats, then never paid me back or paid into it. Screamed at me when I expressed my feelings about and ruined my 26th birthday. Got herself kicked out of her apartment by picking a fight with the new landlord. I bought her a 5th-wheel camper and had someone park it so she had a place to live. She refused to give up her many cats, which then wound up destroying the camper. Moved camper over and over to different sites, did all the maintenance, still gave her money. Somehow has gone through 5 different TVs and has broken all of them. Bought her a new one every single time. Bought her a new phone outright because she wouldn't stop complaining about the one she had. Insisted she wanted to buy a house with the 0 money she had. Somehow managed to find a house for $60K. I used the last of my savings to secure the house. Paid for, did all the appraisal repairs myself. Moved her out of the camper by myself in one day during a snowstorm with all of her cats. Have done numerous repairs to said house, yard work, given her more money. Repaired her car again, then she somehow blew 2 tires and drove it home on the rims. Had to scrap the car. Bought her another vehicle in January. I paid for her insurance. She failed to check the oil, put air in her tires, drove it without oil, and ruined the motor. $3,000 loss for me by May of this year. Have been driving her everywhere since she destroyed the car, buying her groceries, cat food, beer, heating, fuel oil, you name it. She then decided she wants to sell the house and move in with me to save money. I agree, but tell her she can't bring all her animals. She agrees to let go of all but 7 cats, which she wants to house full-time outdoors in catios. I start looking to buy a shed I can convert for proper shelter. She lays it on me last week she has to shut off the utilities on the 7th because she's so far behind on bills. I work full-time and panic, wondering how the F I'm gonna have time to move her out, prepare the selling documents, repair the house, and get it on the market. Cut to Saturday, we are at a family get-together for my nephew an hour away from her house. She starts drinking and smoking and will not stop talking about my past crappy marriage for which I have severe PTSD. She holds my 5 years I was out of state against me for some reason because I was terrified to tell anyone about my crappy husband for fear of my life. She victim blames me. I tell her to stop talking about it. She keeps going. I tell her that's her last drink as I'm cutting her off since I'm driving her an hour back home. I say if she's using me for rides and eventually for a home, she needs to respect me and my wishes. Literally, my house, my rules. She goes, I don't have to listen you, and you're damn right you're driving me home. Not a single ounce of gratitude. Then comes the no one ever asked you to do any of this anyway. You didn't have to be your father when he died. I go full nuclear on her. All the rage and stress and feeling unappreciated comes out. I remind her she'd be homeless without me at this point. She delusionally believes she can handle everything without me and shuts up halfway through the hour ride home. Take me back to my house. I won't ever listen to your rules or live under your roof. I drop her off, she does her dramatic goodbye and goes into her house. Haven't heard from her since, nor do I want to. She has no car. Basically no money. Has too many animals that she can barely take care of. The guilt of cutting her off has me screwed up so badly, I feel like I'm going to cry or lose my sanity at any moment. I'm in the wrong to leave her unalive in the water? She can't do a thing for herself without my help and she knows it, but won't admit she needs my help, or to even praise how much I've taken care of her. Please help me. This situation has me completely immobilized. She'll likely wind up foreclosing on the house and I have no idea what she'll do. I am racked with worry and I don't know if I can live with myself with this decision. I have my own house and mortgage and bills to take care of, and I'm in the process of finding a new job that pays more to compensate for my non-existent savings. I thought I was going to have a nervous breakdown at work. I need some serious insight. Let's dive into our next story. Expected to help because we don't have kids. We just spent a weekend with family. We are the only couple who don't have kids. We were in a cabin with 6 children. 2 of these toddlers have major attachment issues and scream for their parents if they are not being held by mom or dad. The whole weekend revolved around these 2. Husband and I were constantly given tasks to help with them, including babysitting while mom looked after the other kid. The youngest was put down for naps in the common area and we were constantly being told to be quiet so we don't wake him. We barely had time to ourselves and wanted to get away for a hike or swim in the lake. This never happened. Cherry on top was at the airport. Husband and I ran ahead and got through security to get away and enjoy some alone time. There was an issue at security with mom and dad, so my sister spots us sitting with our luggage and yells at us to come help. Husband ran off and I grab our luggage to see what the issue is. She left my husband with a bunch of bags, 2 screaming toddlers and a stroller and disappeared. I come to his rescue and grab the loudest kid and try to calm him. We wind up waiting for 15 minutes with 2 screaming banshees and are getting dirty looks from everyone. My brother-in-law comes through and profusely apologizes and takes the kids. My sister comes through and barks orders for me to find some snacks for the kids as their flight is boarding soon. It's super unfair to rope us in to look after kids that aren't our responsibility. One old lady came up to us afterwards and asked if we were okay, and if we knew those kids, LMAO. I said I was the auntie and she gave me this pitiful look. They're not well behaved and have attachment issues. They throw tantrums constantly. Thanks God we were on a different flight. Husband tells me after he's now having second thoughts about kids, and to be honest, so am I. We have another big family trip in October, and we will be in a cruise. Sister asked what flight we are taking so we can help. Husband and I are making an action plan to make ourselves scarce and will be booking a separate flight. Update: Sister is now asking us if we can book our flight in the afternoon to help her with the kids. We booked a flight as early as possible in the morning and will not be telling her when. Edit: The upcoming cruise is a gift from my parents as they want the whole family to be together. We paid for our own flights, however. On to the next story. My religious parents forced me to go on a beach trip so I can chaperone my older brother and his new girlfriend. It'd be one thing if they were under 18, but they're both over 20 years old, for crying out loud. I've also been getting annoyed with having to play third wheel every time he gotten into a new relationship for the past 7 to 8 years. Apparently, purity culture still applies to every new Pentecostal couple, even if they are grown adults. Jokes aside, I really wish I could find a solid excuse on weekends to get out of stuff like this. Even with the job I'm interviewing for, I'd still have some weekends off, so there's a chance my parents would do this again. Outside of volunteering for local campaigns, which my dad, my pastor, is against because most of them are with a Democratic candidate, I can't think of anything else to fall back on. I have a small circle of friends out of church, but there's no way my family would be cool with me hanging out with them because they'll say that they're going to be a bad influence. Until I save up enough to move out next year, I'm going to be in a constant struggle to put my foot down, considering that I don't have financial leverage on them. Our last story for today. Entitled Mom Demands I Serve Her Underage Son Alcohol. Creative language used because I was feeling low-key petty. After working as a waitress for 2 years, I have finally had a Karen encounter. LMFAO. Some context: I work at a restaurant in Europe. In my particular country, we are not allowed to serve alcohol to anyone under the age of 18. However, the parents are allowed to give their kids alcohol in the privacy of their own home, as long as they are over the age of 16. You are also legally forced to carry your ID with you, or you can get a pretty hefty fine in case of a police check. This is relevant later. I also don't speak the native language of the country, since I'm an international student. Back to the story. This table ordered all non-alcoholic drinks except for one beer. They weren't in my section, I was working inside and they were sitting outside on the terrace. However, since it was nice weather, and the outside section was busy, I decided to help bring food and drinks. When I got to the table and heard that the beer was for the son, I gave him a suspicious look and asked for ID. Keep in mind bro was shorter than me. I'm around 165 cm, had no facial hair, and was skinnier than a Calvin Klein underwear model. The dad seemed to find it extremely funny and started laughing, while the son was visibly pissed off, looking in his little waist pouch thing for his ID. After around 3 minutes of desperate looking while I was sitting there with the fakest customer service smile in the world, he said I don't have it, so I denied him the beer, and he got an iced tea instead. He ordered it after not getting served the beer. I thought that was the end of it and I returned the beer to the bar. But, oh boy. His mom just lost her melons apparently. This is how it went, paraphrase. Me. Brings over the iced tea and was prepared to go back inside. EM, entitled Mom, in English mumbling, so rude. Me, excuse me. EM raising her voice. You people are so rude. Me confused as F. EM, why would you rudely deny my son one beer just because he forgot his ID at home? I was here to supervise him. I then attempted to explain to this lady that I need this job and don't want to be held liable for serving alcohol to a minor. She kept arguing that he was actually 19 and I was stupid to not be able to tell. She then proceeded to say this monologue. You were so rude. Who do you think you are? Why did you ID check him when you didn't take the order? You might be legally correct, but morally you are absolutely wrong. How dare you judge me and my family? What we do in our family is not your business. Short version, she went on for a while. I was so sick of this crap, so I apologized for my rudeness and told her I won't be back to serve them anymore, and they can instead talk to any of my polite coworkers. They then proceeded to call me immigrant slurs in the native lingo while I was passing by their table. Somehow, the kid convinced one of my coworkers that he's gonna turn 18 in less than a week and he got his beer, but meh, not my problem. They also denied the whole conversation with me when the manager came to their table and said they thought I was rude but didn't confront me. Oh, and they refused to pay for the beer he got from my coworker and the iced tea he got as a replacement. They apparently made a pretty big scene about it, but I was on break, so not my problem. And those are all the stories we have for today. See you tomorrow.